Mitchell, Ontario on day 2 the Canada East ISC men's qualifier. And the Hill United Chiefs, back on Softball Premier TV, is in their second game of the event. They take on the Northeast Drillers. Both teams falling in their opening round-robin games one night ago. The Hill United Chiefs, in a dandy, fell 3-2 to JDT First Energy behind the pitching of Devin McCullough, who had 15 strikeouts, and the Drillers falling to the Bear Creek Express by a count of 4-1 in their opening games. So both teams hoping to find their way back into the win column. And the Hill United Chiefs will bat first and will set their lineup. It looks very similar to the lineup that Jeff Ellsworth, John Stewart, and John Hill sent to the Diamond one night ago. There are changes, though, at the bottom. Blake Hunter came into the game and pinch hit, and Nick White will draw in the game, batted the number 9 spot in right field. And White, 21-year-old from Truro, Nova Scotia, is off to a terrific start, and that is where we are, Ketterson Park in Mitchell, Ontario. Somewhat chilly morning, bit of a breeze. The umpires for today's game by our plate will be Steve Gallagher and Mike DeBreu. The Drillers, one season ago, to give you some background, they were 19-14 overall in 2024, a record of 4-2 at the ISC Men's World Tournament, and they have some additions to their lineup, and some good ones as they're about to take the field. And we are set right on time. This is just a superb division of men's fast pitch softball. All 6 teams among the best in the ISC. You won't find a much better weekend tournament as far as club softball than the one that is happening here this weekend, which will wrap up tomorrow with the championship final. And on the mound, a youngster from Argentina, Noel Sanz, who pitched for Argentina at the 2023 U23 World Cup. Last year he was a member of the Oma Tigre, but finds himself as a key addition on this Drillers team as Argentina continues to produce players in the men's game at this sport at a very, very high level. And his battery mate is the starting catcher of Argentina's national men's team, Juan Zara. Around the diamond for the Drillers, Blaine Milheim is the third baseman, Cam Schiller, Zach Shaw, all 3 will play for the United States at the upcoming World Cup in Prince Albert. And at first base, New Zealand national team member Thomas Inoka. And leading off for the Chiefs today, in just his second game of the 2025 season, is Shane Boland, 0 for 3 last night in the 3-2 setback. Glad to have you with us, no matter where you're looking on this Saturday morning, is the Sands pitch is down and in for a ball. Changeup is a good one for a strike to even the count. Shane, a longtime veteran with the Canadian national men's team. He'll play again at the upcoming World Cup. Hit .333 on his way to an all-world selection at last year's ISC World Tournament in Surrey, British Columbia. Won by the Chiefs for their 6th ISC World title. And Sands continue to show the change-up. This one for a strike. And if you love this sport at this level, and it's the highest level, always exciting to see good young pitchers. Obviously for Hill United, one of the stars, regardless of age, and Marco Diaz, who's 23. This young man in the circle today, the same age. And misses up on the full count, and Boland draws a leadoff walk. In the game last night, Hill United with a couple of runs, they had 4 hits in the game, and one of them belonged to the gentleman stepping into the batter's box right now, Brad Ezekiel. He was 1 for 3 in the game. On the season, 7 for 14 with a home run and 7 runs batted in. And takes a strike. An 8-time All-World member at the ISC World Tournament. Chiefs with a 5-1 record now on the year as it squibs off the end of the Ezekiel bat. Second tournament of the year for the Chiefs. First by my count for the Drillers. As Sands trying to straighten out his landing position. Right at the base of the 8-foot circle. So Boland the runner at first, and the drop ball strikes out Ezekiel for the first out of the game. Down and in on the hands from Sands. And swung on and missed. And here's the hottest hitter on the planet, Nick Shales, 12 for 15 to start the year. 5 home runs. He homered last night off Devin McCullough in the 3-2 loss to JDT First Energy, and has 13 runs batted in. Some kind of start for number 27. And would love to add to it here as Sands misses inside with a rise ball. Boland, even at 35 years of age, still has excellent speed on the base path. So always an opportunity to put a play on. And Shales, again, elects to take for good reason. Nick, even by his own standards, had a difficult ISC World Tournament last year with just the 1 hit. And had a good rip at that and knew he had a pitch that he wanted to handle, although he turns and asks home plate umpire Steve Gallagher whether it was a ball or a strike. 10-time All-World, 2-time ISC World Tournament MVP in Nick Shales, who the first time in a long time will not play for his home country, Australia, at a major event. And a good rise ball from Nowell Sands to strike out Nick Shales, and that's not been an easy thing to do early in the year. But make no bones about it, a very different type of competition for the Chiefs than what they faced last weekend in being the co-champions at the Jack Grafmeyer Memorial as Matrone gets into one, and it is long gone to straightaway center, and it's 270 out there. Bruno Matrone with his first home run of 2025, and it is an absolute no-doubter. A 2-run shot for Matrone off a fellow countryman as he goes with it on the outside portion and absolutely blasts it. I don't know of many softball diamonds that are 270 to straightaway. Generally, it's in the 250 neighborhood, as Matrone has supplied Hill with an early 2-0 lead. And now it's Tony Gonzalez, the first baseman. The pride of Tijuana, Mexico. Now 2 for 10 on the season. He was 0 for 2 last night. Did drive in one of the 2 runs late in the game with a sacrifice fly to right field. And the changeup finds the outside portion to end the at-bat. But not before. A Bruno Matroni blast to straightaway center has given the Hill United Chiefs a 2-0 lead in their second game of this Canada East ISC qualifying tournament in Mitchell.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to see you soon.
Peligro Sports provides the essentials needed to give your team an edge on the field. Our brand is rooted in creating a unique experience tailored to the specific needs of your team to ensure your performance is at the best level to execute plays. At Peligro Sports, we rally behind our athletes and understand their fight to.
The Hill United Chiefs on a 2-run home run to straightaway center off the bat of Bruno Matroni, who will be the starting catcher today. Here is how they look around the diamond. Quentin Bruce in left, Brad Ezekiel in center, and Nick White drives in, the speedster in right field. Blake Hunter plays at third base today. Shane Bolin back at shortstop. Lenny Villavazzo at second. Tony Gonzalez at first. Matroni behind home plate, and catching fellow Argentine right-hander Martin Gonzalez. And Gonzalez gets the ball for the Chiefs in their first of 2 round-robin games today. The other, a rematch of last year's world title game against the now formerly New York Gremlins, now the Bear Creek Gremlins, who downed the Toronto Batmen in their opening game last night to the tune of 7-0 behind a 16 strikeout performance from Jack Besgrove. And here's one of the best outfielders on the planet in Teo Migliavaca, the Argentine national team member. He was 0 for 3 in the game last night against the Bear Creek Express. A first-team all-world selection, and easy to make a selection when at the ISC tournament he went 10 for 18. 2 doubles, 3 home runs, 3 runs batted in. Hit .556. And facing Gonzalez as Matroni frames and looks back at the home plate umpire, and Gonzalez asking where the pitch is. Martin 1-0 coming out of last weekend's tournament in Kimberly, Wisconsin. He's pitched 6 innings, given up 4 runs on 8 hits, struck out 9, and yet to walk anyone. And the drop ball is down and away. Migliavaca, 4-time all-world selection. And this guy can do it all. Run, throw, hit for power. Fields his position extremely well, throws well. This is a fine player in a weekend loaded with them. Drops down a bunt. And you can't do it any better. You could not go and drop it down with your hand to yourself any better than Migliavaca just did. So a bunt base hit for Teo. To find himself at first for Another young, emerging superstar in the sport, Mexicali, Mexico's Yordan Solorio. He had 2 doubles in the setback last night against Bear Creek, including a double that drove in their only run late in the game. He won't turn 23 until the 14th of November. And he hit .444 at last year's ISC. As Gonzalez pours in a strike. The Northeast Driller left fielder, Yordan Solorio. Gonzalez, when he's at the top of his game, will work all 4 quadrants. And when the control is pinpoint, he is very difficult to hit. And shaking his head, asking where that pitch was, and home plate umpire Gallagher says it was a little outside. So Migliavaca, after a great bunt base hit to begin, always a threat to run. And Matroni does well to handle that drop ball. Three balls and a strike to Yordan Solorio. The Chiefs striking first on an absolute blast by Bruno Matroni to dead away center, and a walk, first of the season, issued up by Martin Gonzalez. And here's U.S. national team member Blaine Milheim. He got off to a good start in his season last night. He was 2 for 4. 5 for 18 was Milheim at last year's World Tournament. He started like an absolute house on fire. He was 5 for his first 6, and then the hits did not come very easily. From Homer, Michigan. Popped high in the air to Nick White and right, who settles under it. Migliavaca will threaten the throw a little offline, but Hunter over to handle it with a good cover from pitcher Gonzalez. So 1 away on the flyout off the bat of Blaine Milheim. And another key newcomer to the Northeast Drillers is Riley Makia, the 25-year-old from Wellington, New Zealand, on his way to a World Cup with the Black Sox in Prince Albert in less than a month. And he rips this one into the gap, and it might tie the game, and will. RBI double off the bat of Riley Makia. And just like that, the game is even at 2 apiece. Can be a little tricky here in the outfield, just even by that replay, as it kind of dips on its way to the fence. So a 2-2 tie here in the first, and now Marshall Cronk, an Australian national team member. And Marshall just able to get out of the road of that, the 30-year-old from Brisbane. Oh for 1 in the game last night against Bear Creek. Kronk hit .316 last season. Goes the other way for a base hit. McKee got by Nick White. And Kronk will get the stop sign at third. So past Viavazo and just underneath the glove of Nick White, who looked to come up throwing, went underneath him, and the base hit for Kronk. And the Drillers with 3 of their own to answer the Matrone 2-run homer. Is a visit to the circle to settle things down for Gonzalez. Still only 1 out. And the Drillers have taken a 3-2 advantage. Infield now in as Schiller flares it for a base hit and make it 4-2 for the Drillers. As the U.S. national team shortstop Cam Schiller just flares this one on the outside portion, went with it, good piece of hitting, and flares it for an RBI single. And now it's the veteran Thomas Inoka. He'll play at the upcoming World Cup in Prince Albert. Longtime member of the New Zealand national team. 3 for 11 was Thomas as a member of the Bear Creek Express at last year's ISC World Tournament. And helped his home country qualify for the World Cup in the same place, Prince Albert. Over the head of Hunter. And the Drillers have come out swinging on this Saturday morning. No activity as of yet for the Chiefs. And Jeff Ellsworth, the head coach, on his way out to chat with his pitcher. As Juan Zara due up. So the Drillers have scored 4 times. And that's Marco Diaz, who threw 6 innings last night against JDT. He starts to warm up. And Gonzalez and the Chiefs trying to get out of a tough inning. They had a tough second inning last night. Gave up all 3 runs to JDT in a 4-hit second inning. And the Drillers have 5 hits here in the first, 4 in succession. As Zara with his first at-bat. The now starting catcher of Team Argentina taking over from the gentleman behind the plate, Bruno Matrone, the longtime captain and catcher for Argentina. Schiller at second and Oka both with singles at first and second respectively. And Zara right at Bolin, the tag for 1, And Gonzalez does well to come up the line to get it and make the tag. A big inning-ending double play, but the Drillers, who trailed 2-0, now lead it 4-2 after one here in Mitchell.
Dreamcatcher, inch by inch, we'll fight to make the lives of First Nations people in this community, this province, and on this continent better. I know we have a long way to go, but I'm proud to say as long as our people have a need, Dreamcatcher will be there for them.
So lots of runs. 4 by the Drillers, 2 for the Chiefs. As Quentin Bruce, a Canadian national team member, will lead things off for Hill United in his second year in the Hill United lineup. The 6-time and reigning ISC world champions, but find themselves in a deficit again in game number 2. Quentin is 2 for 11 on the season, 0 for 3 last night against Devin McCullough, who threw a fantastic game for JDT First Energy, gave up 4 hits, struck out 15. A changeup from Sands is fouled off. The Chiefs left fielder. Quentin hit .277 last season, 7 doubles, a couple of triples, 5 homers, and drove in 24. And would love to get things started with his team down by a pair here in the second. Great action all day long, and we'll have it for you on Softball Premier TV and the YouTube channel. Blair Setford, Joe Todd, and myself, Peter Lubardius, bringing you all the action this weekend. It's the rise ball, swung on and missed. And Sands has his 4th strikeout of the morning, as the young Argentine off to a pretty good beginning, minus the 1 pitch that was hit about .290 to straightaway center off the bat of Bruno Matroni. And now it's second baseman Lenny Villavazzo. Villavazzo 3 for 13 to start the year for the Chiefs. He's homered and driven in 5. Sands misses in. Villavazzo, .289 with the Chiefs last season, had 10 doubles, 3 triples, 11 home runs. He can pack a punch when he's in a groove, and rips this one, but foul. Down the left field line. Villavazzo trying to get the batting glove and the wrap that goes with it all set. Now he's ready to go. Or is he? Sands looks in and delivers. Sands seems to have a great demeanor, always smiling. Helps when you have a 4-2 lead. Change up. Just missed up. And Villavazo draws a one-out walk. Nanaimo, British Columbia's Blake Hunter had an at-bat late in the game last night against JDT in the starting lineup, and mentioned it several times already early in the season. Thing about Blake is not only does he hit it very well, but he's such a versatile guy. He'll catch. You can use him almost anywhere in the infield. So it gives you a lot of versatility and a lot of options. And what he'd like right now is a base hit. It's the changeup. Misses down this time. Big part of the arsenal for the youngster is the change. And you almost have to have it at this level. And the level doesn't really get any better in the sport than what's on display here this weekend in Mitchell. Can't really go a batter without talking about somebody who isn't of world-class stature. This game just loaded with those types of people. Both lineups. Both batter and runner looking over at Jeff Ellsworth. John Hill, one of the nicest people in the sport. Coaching down at first, John Stewart, the Canadian national team head coach. The other member of the Hill United coaching staff is Hunter. Looks at strike three, and there's two down. And now, 21-year-old right fielder Nick White, who's 7 for 10. Those are the numbers he put up last weekend at the Jack Grafmeyer with a homer and 5 runs batted in. Pinch ran in the game last night, stole a base during that play, a throwing error, and ended up scoring a run on a sacrifice fly. There goes Villavazo. The tag is in time. Well worth another look at that. As the fine fielding Schiller had to deal with a short hop. Zara very close. Hill thought that Villavazo had slid around the tag. Not the call. Inning comes to an end. 4-2. The Northeast Drillers in front of Hill United. The Hill United Chiefs trailing the Northeast Drillers 4-2 as the Drillers set to bat with the number 9 batter in the lineup, U.S. national team member Zach Shaw, their starting second baseman. He is from Missouri. And seems to be maybe some injury concern. Is Jeff Ellsworth in a conversation, it looks primarily, I believe, with Lenny Villavazzo. And they're going to make a change. So maybe on the slide, Villavazzo looking at his thumb on the left hand as he hooked around and probably jammed that thumb on the bag. So Nick Shales, who is in the designated player spot, will move into that position for Villavazzo. And now Gonzalez set to deliver to Zach Shaw. And the rise ball is ball one. You can see early in the game that Gonzalez has been a little frustrated at times. Two balls and no strikes to Shaw, who was 2 for 14 at last year's ISC World Tournament in Surrey, British Columbia, where the Drillers posted a record of 4-2. And Marco Diaz continues to get ready down the first base line. In the air, but likely makes it out of play and just did. Bolin gave it a great effort. Reached over, but couldn't quite get to that. And Shaw stays alive. Two balls and two strikes to Zach Shaw, who was a second-team All-Star at last year's ASA National Tournament. And Gonzalez has a strikeout. Paints the outside corner well. And first of the day, as he looks to settle in and get in a groove with his team trailing by a couple. Teo Migliavaca laid down a perfect bunt to start the bottom of the first and scored one of their 4 runs. You absolutely couldn't have dropped it any better than he did. That one does find the outside corner to even the count. And should mention as well, Martin Gonzalez pitching against his old group today. Hit hard at Boland. And there's 2 down. Shane Boland has always been a terrific defensive shortstop. That ball hit hard. And Migliavaca is retired, and now it's Yordan Solorio, who walked and scored in the first. Location, location, location. When it is really good for Gonzalez, he can give you quality innings. He fought it early. Gonzalez was 5-5 with the Drillers last season, record-wise. Pitched 81 2/3 for the team that he's now facing. So you know he's got a little extra juice this morning. And sometimes that can be a great thing, and sometimes it can put you in an emotional state that isn't quite where you want to be. Just no easy outs in really any of these 6 teams lineups. This time Gonzalez works the other side of the plate. Full count, Jordan Solorio is shaking out his right hand. Had a couple of doubles last night. And there's the type of inning that Gonzalez was looking for. A 1-2-3, bottom of the second. It remains 4-2 Northeast Drillers after 2.
Let's talk about a local one-stop shop. Live Well for Life is just that, a fitness, nutrition, and therapy facility all under one roof. Located at 3878 Wellington Street in Mitchell, Ontario, you can get so much done in just one visit. A full complement of staff on hand include chiropractic, massage, and personal training to get you back to your healthy self. Find them on the web at livewellforlifeinc.com or give
Live Well for Life, a proud sponsor of the broadcast program.
And he's just 21. There's such a bright future. He'll be in tournaments like this for a long time. In his second year with Hill United. Threat to bunt. Again, when he hits the ball to the left side of the diamond on the ground, he's a threat to be on base. This will be close, and there's just an example of the speed. Shaw came over to make a fine fielding play, but Nick White put it in play, has a chance. And even that time, to the right side of the diamond, found a way, and he's up to 8 hits. He's 8 for 11 now. And here's Boland, who walked and scored on Bruno Matroni's 2-run homer back in the top of the first. Another good one to begin the day here in Mitchell. And there will be many of them before and including tomorrow's title game. Zara has a very strong throwing arm. There goes White, and he's going to steal it. That's stolen base number 6 by my count already this season, and his second of the weekend. Strong throw by Zara, who releases it as quickly as anyone. But a fine diving headfirst slide allowed Nick White to be safe. 2 balls and a strike to Shane Boland with a runner now in scoring position. In his first weekend of the season, did not participate in Kimberley last weekend. back at home attending to some matters. And great to have him here in Mitchell. Long-time member of this Chiefs team. Sands delivers. Full count to the shortstop. Longtime national team member Jeff Ellsworth still able to knock it down over there. What a pleasure it's been the last couple of weekends getting to know Jeff. Being around the Chiefs a lot the last 2 weekends. And very fortunate and grateful to be calling a lot of their games in 2025. A great organization, and what always makes organizations great is people. And Bolin draws the walk, and the Chiefs have something going here in the third. As Brad Ezekiel goes in search of his second hit of the weekend. Seven for 15 now on the year. 7 runs batted in already. Had 37 in 2024. And you always know the way he carries the bat who it is. Question I've been meaning to ask him and will at some point, maybe even on the weekend, is how he arrived at the stance, and more importantly, how he holds the bat. You don't see the bat up in that area for many players. But when you swing it and have had the career that he's had, you can do whatever it is that you like. He'd love a hit right here. As Ezekiel takes a strike. See what Sands comes with here. And for the second time, he strikes out Ezekiel, and that is not easy to do. So a very important first out is Nick Shales, who struck out his first time up. Tries to cut into the advantage. And anytime you see that reaction, you know that a batter has just missed it. And this guy hasn't missed much to start 2025, 12 for 16 after the strikeout. Homered last night to get the Chiefs on the board in their 3-2 loss, as they're trying to avoid a second straight setback here in Mitchell. And the rise ball, good movement from the youngster Sands. Just coming into his own at 23. Gets away from Wanzara. As both White and Boland easily move up 60 feet. Shales now with an opportunity to tie the game with a hit potentially, and lays off the rise. Have not seen what Sands is registering on the gun. But I know it's there. Gets by Zara. White will score easily. Is right through the wickets that time. And the lead is cut to 4-3. Still only one out. Shales right at Milheim. Good play to scramble back as Bolin with a big exhale and then a little hug between him and Milheim over at third base. Great reaction by Milheim, and maybe even better by Bolin to avoid what could have been an inning-ending double play. And one thing about Blaine Milheim, he has an absolute gun for a throwing arm. And here's Bruno Matroni, who delivered an absolute blast to straightaway center for a 2-run homer back in the first to open the scoring. A no-doubter from Matroni, his first home run of the season. In 2024, Bruno went deep 6 times. Hit .383 last season. This guy's been a great player for a long time. Getting closer to the end. And gets into this too. Migliavacca back, won't be able to get there, and Bruno Matroni's going to make the turn on his way to third with a stand-up triple. What a beginning to the day for the longtime veteran, Bruno Matroni. In most parks, that's his second home run of the day, but it is deep here to center. And when Teo Migliavacca can't track it down, not many could. And the game is even. Bruno Matroni hits it where it's pitched and well into the gap in right center. And it's 4-4 as Tony Gonzalez was not cheated on that swing. Matroni with a home run and a triple and 3 runs batted in. And he's tied the game. Sands responds with a couple of strikes to Gonzalez. Tony struck out to end the first. And Sands thought he had him again on the changeup. He was halfway to the dugout. Gonzalez called out, had hoped that he checked his swing, and did the smart thing, knowing that the ball had been spilt to start to go, but maybe in some ways that influenced the call. Hill United Chiefs with 2 in the third have tied it at 4 apiece.
How confident are you in your organization's security posture? If your answer isn't 100%, you're not alone. Most organizations aren't doing enough to protect their data, and they know it. With Armitage technology, you can stop worrying about IT security issues so you can focus on moving your business forward. Our experienced staff monitor and maintain your IT infrastructure to keep your business running. Visit us at armitagetech.com and make your technology work for your
A 4-4 tie as we make our way to the bottom of the third. Martin Gonzalez, who gave up 4 in the bottom of the first, delivered a 1-2-3 second and is hoping for more of the same, facing 3, 4, and 5 in the lineup. And Blaine Milheim to lead things off. Milheim flew out his first time up. He's 2 for 5 on the weekend. Milheim is 28 years old. He will turn 29 on the 14th of November. Hit .388 with the Drillers last season. 6 doubles, 7 home runs, and 20 runs batted in. A 2-time All-World member, or make that a 1-time member. Had a huge tournament in 2023 when he went 10 for 21. Trying to stay alive there. And able to do so. As the wind starts to pick up a little here in Mitchell at Ketterson Park. Lots of activity. 2 other divisions in this particular tournament. This is what you would call the A division, the 6 teams involved in the event we're bringing you on Softball Premier TV. There's a Legends division. And another one with some excellent teams. A number of those you'll see at the ISC World Tournament. Coming up this year, it is earlier than normal. The World Tournament will start July 25th in Mankato, Minnesota. And the timing of it changed due to the WBSC World Games in China. Generally, the ISC World Tournament is in that August 10th neighborhood. Not this year. Moved up a couple of weeks. And Milheim having himself a good at-bat, and Gonzalez testing him. Martin has a couple of strikeouts, both of those coming in the 1-2-3 second. And Gonzalez wants a different softball. Boland and Shales takes care of business. Nick inserted into the game at second after the injury, sliding to Lenny Viavazzo. Riley Makia from New Zealand And Dad Thomas is the head coach of the Black Sox, the national team. And what a player Dad was. My goodness. Riley already with a double today and a couple of runs batted in. And he's just 25 years of age. Shakes his head in accordance, knowing that he went around and looked like it was in the strike zone nonetheless. Riley is from Wellington, New Zealand. Has not played in an ISC World Tournament by my account since 2021. Was very productive, helping his country qualify for the upcoming World Cup. He was 8 for 17 in Prince Albert last July with a couple of home runs and 5 runs batted in, as New Zealand finished second in that event behind Argentina. And that Argentina lineup featured the pitcher that he's facing right now, Waymo Mata, who threw 7 innings last night for the Drillers. The ace, you might say, of not only this team, the Drillers, but Argentina as well. And a walk drawn by Makia, who's on base for a second straight time. The Drillers had 5 hits in that first inning. One of them belonged to Marshall Cronk. And Cronk looked unhappy with that decision. If you're Gonzalez, that's the area you're probably trying to attack. That's a tough spot to get a hit. And Gonzalez probably feeling like that was very close to being in the same spot. Ball and a strike to Marshall Cronk, a member of the Australian national team, the reigning men's world champions. And again, some unhappiness for number 7. Well, it is game on this morning between these two excellent squads in a 4-4 tie in the bottom of the third. Change up, driven to right with the glasses on. Nick White backpedals to make the catch, and it gets by both Shales and Bolin, but no real opportunity for Makia to move up, and there are 2 away. Can be a tough time of the day. There is some slight cloud cover. The ball coming out of those clouds, but White was able to make the play. And now it's shortstop Cam Schiller. He has a hit. As Gonzalez misses outside. Similar spot, same result. Schiller has driven in a run today and had a mighty cut at that. Cam's 35. He's from Prescott, Arizona, and he'll play at the upcoming World Cup for the United States. I mentioned last night, this is probably the best United States team that they'll send to a World Cup, or formerly the World Championship, in a long time. Hill United star pitcher Marco Diaz, a big reason for that. Like this weekend, there will be no easy games for any country in Prince Albert, and that is the case here at this superb group of 6 teams that's assembled in Mitchell. Outside of the last number of days at the ISC World Tournament, you won't see competition like what we have this weekend. Schiller goes down looking, and another important half inning as Gonzalez has settled in, and it remains 4-4 after 3. Luch, I have 5 hits for the Drillers and 2 for the Chiefs. Thank you. Yeah, hits, yes. Yeah, thank you. Lopez came in. Quentin Bruce to lead things off. As the Chiefs have rebounded. They led early on a Bruno Matroni 2-run shot, 2-0. The Drillers responded in the bottom of the first with 4. But the Chiefs with 2 of their own in the third. And it's 4-4. Pipolo Lopez will bat in Lenny Villavazo's spot next. Villavazo looked like he jammed a thumb on a slide attempt earlier in the game, and hope that Lenny's going to be all right. Bruce struck out. Facing Sands, his first time today. It's the sign from Wanzara. Change up, and Bruce stayed right on it. Quality base hit by Quentin Bruce. Sands may have left that changeup a little more up in the zone than he would have liked. And upon second glance, absolutely. But difficult to stay back on, as here's Lopez. Bruce has excellent speed. Pipolo from Mexico. He's off to a good start. He's 5 for 7. This is his first at-bat here in Mitchell. Had a couple of multi-hit games last weekend in Kimberly, Wisconsin, where the Chiefs went 5-0. and then had the championship game against the Kegel Black Knights rained out. Anoka ranging, and Lopez able to beat out a double play attempt. There's Bruce on the slide, trying to make Cam Schiller's life a little more difficult. On the turn, not quite in time to get Lopez, who reaches on a fielder's choice. And here's Blake Hunter. Three for 9 on the season for Blake, who was with the New York, now Bear Creek Gremlins, who will be the Chiefs' next opponent in a game slated to start at 5. The way the morning is beginning, that might be pushed back a little bit. As we are just past the hour mark in this one. The Chiefs with just a couple of hits, and they both belong, or make that they have 3 hits, not 2, 3 hits. 2 belong to Bruno Matroni, the other to the gentleman at home plate, Nick White, who had an infield single. Two away after the strikeout for Hunter. And Sands up to 8 strikeouts now in the contest. Despite giving up 4, he continues to show signs of progression. And there's an excellent changeup. Swung on and missed by White. Won't pitch this time around for his country at the World Cup, but I'm going to guess that'll change in a few years. Marshall Cronk is starting to throw for the Drillers. Still very early in the season for these teams, by and large. As we're on the second weekend of June. Sands thought he maybe had another out. There's White staring down at these guys. Figured to have a lot of confrontations against one another over the next 10 years or so. One player is 23, the other's only 21 in Nick White. Won't turn 22 until the 4th of December. And stays alive in another quality changeup. Yes, Mr. Setford and company have put themselves together a whale of an event this weekend. And Nick White goes down swinging. Sands has 9 strikeouts in a 4-4 fourth inning tie. A 4-4 tie. Both of these teams looking for their first round-robin wins. The Drillers fell 4-1 to the Bear Creek Express. The Chiefs falling 3-2 to JDT First Energy. Thomas Anoka singled his first time to face Martin Gonzalez, who has certainly settled in after a tough first inning where he gave up 4 runs on 5 hits. Anoka, 34 years of age. Another very versatile type player from Auckland, New Zealand. A member of the Bear Creek Express, so a big addition for the Drillers. Hit .259 last year. Four pitches. Draws the walk. It's just the second free pass offered up. Or the third free pass. Thank you kindly. Gonzalez did not issue one last weekend in Kimberly, Wisconsin. And now dealing with Juan Zara, who ended the first inning grounding into a 6 unassisted to first double play. Shane Bolin made a tag and then delivered to first to retire Zara. Into shallow center, and nobody will get there. And heads up running for Anoka, who goes first to third. And now the Drillers back in business in the bottom of the fourth with nobody out. And Zara has his first hit of the weekend. He was 0 for 3 last night, and that's going to do it for Martin Gonzalez. We'll get you set for Marco Diaz in a couple of minutes. It's 4-4 here in Mitchell. Marco Diaz enters the game in place of Martin Gonzalez. His second outing here in Mitchell last night in the 3-2 setback against JDT First Energy. Pitched 6 innings, gave up 3 runs on 5 hits, struck out 13, and walked 1. On the season, Marco's 2-1, has pitched 13 innings and struck out 30 batters. And finds himself in a sticky wicket in a 4-4 tie. Runners at first and third, nobody out for second baseman Zach Shaw. Last night, Diaz working with young catcher Luciano Biondi, and today he's got one of the best receivers that has played in the last couple of decades in Matroni. As hard a thrower as there is on planet Earth, Marco Diaz. And that one at 82. Looks like Matroni may have gotten some dust in his eyes as he tries to clean them out a little bit. So infield in, trying to cut off a go-ahead run in this 4-4 game. And the drop misses. 2 balls and a strike to Zach Shaw, who struck out versus Gonzalez his first time up. Again, a bleeder, and it's good news for the Drillers. Just enough of it to deliver a hit and a run, and Zach Shaw has an RBI single, and the Drillers are back in front, this time 5-4. And now it's Migliavacca, who gives you a lot of options in this situation. We've already witnessed him laying down a perfect bunt. Not sure if head coach Ron Hackett will ask him in this situation. Unlikely, I would think, but one never knows. Towards Gonzalez, who tried to get Shaw at second, unable to. So that ball hit in a difficult spot. A perfect spot if you're the Drillers. This is the only real option that Gonzalez had. I don't think he was going to get Migliavacca if he tried to go in the other direction. And the bases are loaded with nobody out for Yordan Solorio. And in his first 2 games of the weekend, that's the pitch that Diaz continues to work on. Really his bread and butter is the drop. Certainly will throw the change. And it's the rise that he's trying to continue to perfect. At Boland, and the shortstop almost looked like he was caught in between. Am I going to shovel to third to make sure I get an out? Am I coming home for the force? And it got away from him. And the Drillers back up by a pair. And Diaz, a strikeout pitcher, would love one. He won't get one here. Tough play for Hunter, and that'll score another run. As the diamond is rock hard here in Mitchell, and Blaine Milheim, a chopper off the plate, turns into a run batted in and an out. The first of the inning. As again, that's the only play that Blake Hunter had available to him. The Drillers scored 4 in the first. They've added 3 more here in the fourth. As Riley McKeah, Nick White in foul territory, but he'll run out of real estate. Riley is doubled today, cashed in a pair, and walked. And in a spot now to potentially open the door for a big lead. When teams like this play, no lead is really ever safe. And that's been the major change over the last couple of decades, maybe even in the last 10, 12 years, is regardless of how great the pitching is, hitters have caught up. When you're of my vintage, and that's getting older and older by the minute, in world-class competition, you go back to the 70s and 80s and even, towards 2000, be a lot of 2-1s and 3-2s. That's not the case anymore. There still is. Make no bones about it. As the Chiefs trying to put the brakes on another difficult inning. And no better guy to do it than Marco Diaz when he's at his best. The 25-year-old Makia on the inside corner, and even the batter nods to say, good pitch. Full count. And had a good crack at that, and knew it too. Justin Schofield was up working for the Chiefs, their third pitcher. And Makia locked in this morning, having another quality at-bat. As he asked Steve Gallagher whether that was a ball or a strike. Marco Diaz would love and borderline needs a strikeout. And got it. Excellent drop ball for Diaz. His first strikeout in relief of Martin Gonzalez. And there are two away in the bottom of the fourth. Marshall Cronk is singled, scored, and flown out to right field. And two runners remain in scoring position for him. Migliavaca, the runner at third. Solorio down at second. Both possess excellent speed. High in the air, and Migliavaca on cue. Lightning to cross home plate. And Matrone did everything he possibly could to react after the ball eluded him. And the Drillers have their second 4-run inning of the game. Marco Diaz facing Marshall Cronk. Up the middle, a base hit. And the Drillers' lead is 5. went with the outside pitch and ripped it by the diving second baseman Nick Shales, who is there in place of the injured Lenny Villavazzo. And a big twist, quality swing by Cam Schiller. Change up. Petroni does well to block it and keep Kronk, who is not a huge threat to run, over at first. The Drillers have batted around in the fourth and have scored 5. The changeup on the outside corner. Diaz replaced Martin Gonzalez with a couple on earlier in this inning. Two and two to Cam Schiller, who has a RBI base hit himself today. Boland into the hole and will throw out the opposing shortstop. 5 runs have broken it open for the Northeast Drillers as the Chiefs will come to bat in the 5th.
Welcome to Mont Hill Golf and Country Club. With our beautiful 27-hole golf course open to the public, we work tirelessly to ensure your time with us is second to none. Well, here you'll be able to enjoy an incredible dining experience at our very own Big Pete's Steakhouse. Play some of the best courses in the world with our state-of-the-art golf simulators. Upgrade your gear with the top brands at our pro shop, or host a stunning wedding, event, or conference inside one of our beautiful ballrooms. Learn all this and more at monthill.ca. We can't wait to
for the Drillers, and they'll make a pitching change. Marshall Kronk will come in the game and replace Noel Sands. Cam Schiller will give way at shortstop as well, a change there. Number 66, Gonzalo Mazmu. He enters the game. Marshall Kronk in 2024 pitched 18 2/3, struck out 34 and walked 11. The last time he faced the Hill United Chiefs in a game as a pitcher was last June 21st in the Hill Tournament in Simcoe, which they will play host to next weekend, a 5-team event. Kronk did not give up a run in the 3 1/3 in that game, won by the Chiefs. Gave up 2 hits, struck out 6, and walked 2. And Shane Boland to face him to begin the 5th. Shane Boland has walked twice and scored twice. Noel Sands, final line, 4 innings, gave up 4 runs, 3 hits, struck out 9 and walked 3. As Kronk faces Boland. Popped in the air. Blaine Milheim says, "I've got it," and he does. Brad Ezekiel with a couple of strikeouts this morning. And probably the close to 35 times that I've watched Brad in his career, maybe more, I only remember him going hitless in 2 games. Now, I don't have that completely, perfectly documented, but by my memory, and most of the time it's pretty good. It's only 2 that I remember, and the trend's going to continue because he has another hit in this game. A double with 1 out in the 5th. His first double of 2025. And it's been funny. Every time I bring up that story, it's like 1 or 2 pitches later, he delivers another hit. So he's 1 for 3. Has his second extra base hit early in the season, and overall his 8th. And Nick Shales, he has 12 hits already this season. And remember, this is only his 6th game. But he's 0 for 2 today. Struck out and then grounded out to Blaine Milheim over at third. Got under this. Shaw is at short. Masmu at second. So Shaw moves over with Schiller being out of the game and Masmu the newcomer into the game but playing at second as Shaw makes the catch to retire Nick Shales. And now the hitter of the day so far for the Chiefs. Bruno Matroni is 2 for 2 with a 2-run homer and an RBI triple. So he has cashed in 3 of the 4. Does he have another in his bat off of Kronk? Change up from Marshall is up and out of the zone. As Matroni locked in his first 2 at-bats, but they came off Noel Sands. This is Marshall Kronk he's dealing with in this at-bat. Had a good rip at that pitch. Chiefs in a sizable hole. They'd like to chip away here in the 5th. 1 out, and Ezekiel after the double at second. A third hit. Ezekiel will score. Bit of a bobble, but they weren't going to get him anyway. And it's 9-5. Bruno Matroni now a double away from hitting for the cycle. Homered, singled, tripled, and has 4 runs batted in. That's having a day. Tony Gonzalez has a couple of strikeouts, his first couple of at-bats, and he is more than capable of drawing the Chiefs closer with 1 swing. 35-year-old packs a lot of pop. He does have 1 homer. Hit a 3-run shot last weekend in Kimberly and an 11-1 triumph over the Midland Explorers. This one gets away from Kronk. new catcher as well, as Juan Zara has been replaced behind home plate by the other Solorio, Jordan's brother. Emiliano is behind home plate catching Kronk. He was a member of the San Antonio Glowworm last season. Tony Gonzalez. Can he drive in another run? Migliavaca can't get to it. Or did he get to it? He did get to it. I was completely blocked out by the home plate umpire. And a couple of players on the road knew that Migliavaca would be close. Well, he made a great diving catch to end the inning. Superb play to take a hit and an RBI away from Gonzalez. Hill scores 1. They're back to within 4.
Dream catcher, inch by inch, we'll fight.
Great diving catch by Teo Migliavaca to end the top of the 5th. The Drillers 4 in the first, 5 more in the 4th on their way to this 9-5 lead as Thomas Inoka plunked. And it hit Bruno Matroni, too. Shook him up. So a double whammy on the pitch by Diaz to start the bottom of the 5th as Matroni trying to shake it off. Got both guys, and unfortunately for the Chiefs catcher, he takes the brunt. And that one, regardless of protection, in a very uncomfortable spot. We will leave it right there. So Thomas Inoka hit by the pitch. And here is Emiliano Solorio, his first at-bat. And Matroni had to dig that one, the drop ball, out of the dirt. Emiliano had only one official at-bat, scored a run at last year's ISC World Tournament with San Antonio. In the 2023 U18 World Cup, he batted .438 for Mexico. So this is a youngster with a great future, too. And looked like that got a piece of Solorio as well, and did. So the changeup off the toe and back-to-back hit by pitch. And the Drillers have runners at first and second with nobody out. And now shortstop Zach Shaw stepping into the batter's box. He has a hit today and a run driven in. Diaz. Looked like the target was out. Ended up in, but called a ball. And now it's Justin Schofield's turn. He was up once already. And now he's going back to work to potentially come in relief. Martin Gonzalez started, gave way in the fourth to Diaz. And Marco yet to find his mark in this game. Had 13 strikeouts last night in the 3-2 loss at the hands of JDT First Energy. And you can just tell by the body language that Diaz is unsettled. And for good reason. This guy's one of the best in the world. It follows up hitting a couple of batters by walking Zach Shaw. As it's been a difficult morning for the Hill United Chiefs men in the circle. Migliavaca, big hack and missed. I love all the banter that goes on both sides between players. Of course, so many have played with one another internationally, especially, which is the case with batter and catcher in this situation, and that one brought a groan from the Northeast dugout. If Hill's to stay in it, they're in desperate need of something good here defensively. Diaz can get you out of a jam like this. Missed on the 0-2, just outside. Marco has one strikeout since replacing Martin Gonzalez with nobody out and 2 on in the fourth. And had a little extra on that one. 9-5 in favor of the Drillers. And the 2-2 on its way. A quick throwback, but it gets away. And it's 10-5. And the Chiefs now in danger of this game potentially ending early. Migliavaca walked, and the bases are loaded again. So 10-5 after the throwing error. And And Solorio with a base hit, if he scored a couple, could end it. And that was not something that I think anybody here at the ballpark would have expected coming into the morning. The Chiefs, in 5 straight wins, did not play a game last weekend in Wisconsin past inning number 5. They don't want the twist of fate in the other direction here this morning. Solorio, Hunter will come home for 1. Climb the ladder to make a fine play. Did Blake Hunter. A lot of high hops in this hard surface here in Mitchell. Climbed the ladder, no hesitation, and came home to get Emiliano Soriano. And Milheim just able to get out of the road of that pitch. As he looks a little shaken. So he resets himself and steps back in. Bases remain loaded. Shaw, the base runner, at third. Migliavaca at second. And Solorio, Jordan, not Emiliano, as the brothers both in the game now at first. Blaine Milheim, 0 for 3. He does have a run batted in on a ground out his last time up. It's Marco Diaz trying to make sure his team has another bat in the game. He asked for a different set of signs from the catcher, Matroni. Three balls and a strike to Blaine Milheim. Milheim, past Boland, and that will end it. Two-run single off the bat of Blaine Milheim. And the Northeast Drillers, in shocking fashion, hand the Hill United Chiefs a 12-5 set back in 5 innings. So the Drillers even their record at 1-1, and Hill United fall to 0-2 in their final round robin game against the now newly named, formerly New York, now Bear Creek Gremlins, who will play in our next game. That'll do it for now. Drillers 12, Chiefs 5. So long from Mitchell.
For the latest in softball innovation, the website where you can experience the best tournaments in the Americas.
Live games, news, tournaments, and much, much more.
The best quality live softball, on demand so you can watch when you want. Become a Premier member now